Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. Today we are going to make this really pretty card. It doesn't have a greeting on it, but it could be for anything. And you could put a little greeting down at the bottom if you wanted to, or you could make a little tag to go underneath the bow. I like this one just as it is. The flower is from the Quiet Meadow set, and I stamped it in polished pink and then cut them out by hand. The embossing folder here is the Ornate Floral 3D embossing folder. And you can see where I was practicing on here. So I've got my gold ribbon all ready to go here. And I cut the circles out with 2 of the layering circles dies. And the bling is from the Genial Gems. So I wanted to just run through a little bit of how I came to this card. This is where I started. I had the scatter dot stamp, and I had these, and I'd masked and layered up and used the greeting from the sweet ice cream set to say happy birthday. And it was a little plain, so I used my markers and went around, and I didn't really like it. The concept is good, but not what I was looking for on this one. So then I got to here, and you can see I peeled things off, and this wasn't dimensionalized, and I put the gold in behind afterwards and that. So this is where this came from. So I wanted to give you just a little bit of insight into kind of the creative process, how I get from the concept in my head to the final card. So what I've got is a polished pink card base with a piece of the Expressions in Ink Designer Series paper cut to 5 1/4 by 4. That's the other side, but I wanted the gold stripe. And then I've got a piece of basic white cut to 5 by 3 3/4, just so we get that little bit of layering. And what I did with this one is I actually cut it out to start with. Because if you're going to emboss and cut something out, you need to do the cutting first, because otherwise if you emboss and then cut, it'll flatten your embossing out. So I just placed this kind of where I wanted it. And the piece in the middle, this doesn't have to line up. You can line it up if you want to, so it's even, but we're actually going to take that center piece out. The smaller of the 2 dies is this piece in the middle, and the larger cuts this piece, so you've got the window all the way around it. So I am just going to layer that up as soon as I find my cutting mat. There it is. So I'm just going to sandwich that, run it through the cut and emboss, and then we will use the embossing folder. And it is one of the 3D embossing folders, so we just need the base plate and the gray plate to go with it. So we can take all of these out like this. We don't need those. So what we've got when I take the dies out is we've got the base plate, we've got the frame, you can save that to use for something else, and then we've got the piece that goes in the middle. So what we're going to do is we are going to put this in the embossing folder. So I'm just going to lay that in like that. I'm going to pop that piece in the middle. Doesn't have to line up, doesn't have to be perfect, because they are going to be separated. So I'm just going to run that through with the gray plate on top, and then we can build our card. So this one, some of the detail, the finer detail work will take a bit more time, because you need to stamp and cut those out to start with. So it's a little bit of effort involved in this one as far as getting kind of the fussy cutting done. So let's start building this card. I am going to use my adhesive and layer this up. Again, this is a 5 1/4 by 4 piece of the Expressions in Ink Designer Series paper. And I wanted gold along both edges so that it kind of stood out a little bit. I'm just gonna line that up, press it down, and then Make sure you've got a good stock of dimensionals because we are dimensionaling. I don't know if that's not right. We're using dimensionals on the back of this. I just want to make sure I've got good coverage there so it doesn't cave in on itself. So we'll just take these off, and really wherever you wanted to put the circles, whether they're further up or lower down, it's entirely your call. This one is a little bit further up than the sample. I'm just going to put this down, make sure we're lined up, and we are, so we're good there. You can see this one is just a little bit higher than the other one, and we're going to dimensionalize the centerpiece as well. So I'm just going to put 3 dimensionals on there, and there we go. Just place that right in the middle as even as possible. So there we go. And then these ones, you can place them down and see where you'd like them to go. I am going to flat mount the bottom 2 and then dimensionalize the top one. So we're just going to pop those in like that. And then I'm going to put a dimensional on the back of this one and pop it on like that. I'm going to use a small dimensional, one of the little dimensionals on the back of the bow, and the bow is going to sit right in this little gap here. So it's not actually going to stand proud of the card. It's going to be level with the pieces that we have already dimensionalized. I'm just going to pop that down like that. So there's our bow on the front like that. And I used, as I said, the genial gems just to add a little bit of bling in here. Let me take the lid off that. So I'm going to pop one there and pop one over here. And we can put one in here if we want. I'm just going to move that over a little bit. And we can pop one down there like that. So that is our card. And like I say, you can attach a piece. You could do some gold embossing with a happy birthday or thank you, and just dimensionalize it on the bottom here. But that's a nice neutral kind of card. And I'm looking at this one here, and I might just trim that off just a little bit shorter. And like that. There we go. And then of course I have to trim the other side, and be careful you don't end up trimming it up too short completely. So there we go. There is our card. Could be for any occasion. It could even be a wedding card. And if you wanted to do these with Versamark and a heat emboss them in gold, that would be really pretty as well. So thank you so much for watching, and let's create together again soon.